Welcome back! Now, this is probably not what you were expecting today for a video. And honestly, I have been working on the Arctic Cat clutches, but I needed to take a break on them. So get this today instead. With it being spring, let's do some housekeeping things first. Thanks everybody who has contributed to Patreon. There's a link down there below. Super appreciated. Even the most minimal of donations, like $1 a month, helps keep the content rolling here. So thanks guys. Anybody who's donated, huge thanks to you. Now, with it being spring, I'm not to say that we're done sledding entirely, but I think it's time to shift gears just a little bit. I was really thinking of doing like a project, like motorcycle or something like that, picking something up, or even like an old sled and restoring it back to 100% condition, like the bodywork, like the whole 9 yards. Actually make it like a nice antique sled or a nice antique bike. And then I started looking around the yard. Well, there is a dirt bike in the back that doesn't run. There's one trike there that half runs. And I don't remember if you guys remember that other trike I got last year. It had spark issues and I couldn't figure it out. It wasn't that I couldn't figure it out. I said, screw it. I just gave up on it for then. Because what I need to do is I need to tear apart the whole back end on it. And get at that neutral switch as well, because I think thanks to TK, thanks buddy, you told me that, oh, I seen that happen. Like this guy's a master with these old trikes. I think he's got like 14 or 15 or like up to 20 of these old trikes, like these big reds, Cowies, Yamahas, everything. And, like he knows these things in and out. And he saw the video and he said, oh, your wet brake's stuck. I said, oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? So because that wet brake's stuck, which I'm hoping that's what it is, the trike is now jammed, so you can't actually get it down into neutral, which means the neutral switch can't be activated, which means there's no spark. But before I started like wanting to buy a project bike or something like that, I was looking around the yard and thinking, yeah, this is how it starts, isn't it? You buy a project, you don't finish it, you buy a project, you don't finish it, you buy a project, you don't finish it, and soon enough there's like 50 sleds and bikes and stuff in the yard, and I don't want that, not yet. So before I take on a new project, we are going to dig out that big red 200, and we're going to see if we can get spark today. That's like the mission for today, is to get spark on it. And that means that there's going to be a lot of stuff around this place that has to move. Oh, and before we get into getting out those trikes, one more thing. Easter's coming, which means sale! If you haven't got yourself a hat or a hoodie, there's going to be 20 to 50% off everything in the merch store coming up. I think I'm going to start it on Friday. So if you haven't got your hat, your hoodie, your decal, if you want a decal, we have those too, unfortunately. Check it out Friday, because we're going to have some stuff there for you coming up as sales. Well, you guys may remember this one. This is the one that I never got running last year. The main reason I didn't get it running is I already had one that worked. That other one back there starts. And the other reason was where I was living at the time, I had no space to tear apart anything. So what I need to do on this one is tear apart the back end, because it's stuck in gear. That wet brake is seized on and I can't actually get it down into neutral right now. Oh, and the other thing, I spent a bunch of time redoing all these switches. The ignition I replaced entirely. Starter switch I completely rebuilt. Light switches completely work now, not a problem there. Brand new ignition. And as you can see, I spent quite a bit of time going through these switches, polishing up all the contacts and rebuilding them entirely. It wasn't just one thing that led to no spark. It's a series of things, and I just said, you know what, screw it. I don't have like the space to take this thing apart. Well, now I do, so hopefully we can get this thing running now, because I'm thinking that that neutral switch was the last piece of the puzzle that I needed to get this thing into gear. I could just jump the switch, but I'm gonna tear this thing apart right now. Oh, she needs some work. This is how we left her last year, with the whole front end here absolutely stripped apart. You got wires everywhere. I think that's headlight, and then a whole bunch of wires here that connect the various switches that we will need to reinstall. Oh, no, that's the headlight. This must have been the ignition. Yeah, that'd have to be the ignition then. Neutral lights and reverse light, because this one actually has the reverse gear case and as well as the high. This is actually a pretty premium unit for a 200. I think this is pretty much as nice as they came. I can rebuild these shocks too, so that's good. Yeah, we're going to work on some electrical here today. Oh, there we go. That'll do her. What's the matter? You don't like it? Don't look. So here's our issue. Is that this tire spins. The hub is actually spinning separate from the axle entirely. So that's what's screwed up on that side. This thing would actually be a one-wheel drive right now if it did work. And then this one, that's loose too, is that the axle's not spinning at all. I mean, the good thing is with the transmission here is I can feel it making a shift. That needs to be addressed as well. Look at that. Beauty. This guy right here should be the neutral switch. Well, before we actually get way in over our heads on this thing and decide if this machine's even worth it to fix, maybe it's just a better parts machine, we can do a little bit of testing here. So that neutral switch is definitely, we don't have a lot of choice of gears here because we can't move the axle. So I don't even know what gear it's in, but we would have a continuity to ground in neutral, which we do not have. So there's another thing that is cutting our spark. We can actually just jump that to ground if we really wanted. Well, this thing may look like an absolute wreck right now. Freaking wires just everywhere, switches hanging down. Things are jumped over here, but really, I'm hoping that should be all we need to get spark on this thing. So let's give it a go. Oh, I saw one! I saw one! I saw a spark! Look at that! Oh, I'm so happy! Well, we have to see if it'll fire now. We can't just sit here and look at it. Wow, this spark plug is not in the best shape, but I don't know if I have any. There's a cheap one. What is this? Autolite. Piece of junk. Oh, well. Ben's not here. Oh yeah, the old classic tight or down Benjamin. That's my boy right there. Can't have that too tight. But I'm sure Ben won't mind us, you know, just borrowing a little bit of his fuel. It seems to be alright with that kind of stuff usually. We have spark at the plug. Grounding out inside the plug body, which is not what we're after. Get ready for this mess. Yeah, that spark plug is definitely no good. Well, let's try the half fouled one. This one is arcing out internally, grounding internally, so no good. Okay, this one looks pretty bad, but taken from that one back there, it's burning a little bit of oil, but it's actually got pretty good spark. So though it may be a little oil fouled, we're still gonna give it a go. I mean, the unfortunate thing is that with everything closed, I can't just go out and pick one of these up right now. Okay, baby. Still doesn't want to, huh? We're gonna try priming it one more time, just for funsies, because I'm pretty sure that last one I heard it. I heard it come over. Okay, one more time. One for the money. Come on, baby. Oh, yeah. Yes. Sweet. Okay. Turns over. Nice, fires. You may have noticed that I wasn't actually using the electric starter to turn it over, even though it does have an electric starting system. And I do have a jumper pack. The electric starter motor is shot. I'm going to go in there and check out the starter gears and make sure everything's okay. If anybody has an electric starter for an 84 Big Red 200, yes, I might be interested in buying it off you. I think I'm going to stop right there for today. Usually I'd keep going, but I'm going to pause it there because I got a few other things to do. So in the next video, we'll be doing a carb service. Those of you who were with the channel last year might remember that like every day was a carb service video. That's what we'll be doing probably tomorrow or the next day on this one, because as long as everything is good in that carb, then we can get it running, and then after that we will be taking apart the diff and seeing, hopefully it's just something in the diff, like that wet brake is seized on. I have a feeling this thing's been sitting for a long time, so very possible that wet brake is just seized on. I bet you that's what it is. I hope not to find like any big issues in that transmission. Hopefully there won't be anything wrong in there, and then basically we can just get it running, because I know you guys want to see some like some trike camping or something like that, and I'd love to do it because I got the other one back there that runs too, and that'll be the Benjamin special. All right, sorry I didn't go a little further on this today. We're gonna carry on along it tomorrow. It was a ton of work. I didn't show most of what I did. When you look at all the switches and all that other stuff that I did, I didn't show all that just to get this thing to be able to have spark, because that's the issue we had with it last year. So and it ended up being that neutral switch, so it would have been a pretty easy fix for me, but there was so much wrong with it. The ignition was smashed out. The kill switch was not working at all. It was just flopping in there, so I wasn't sure if maybe something was shorting it out to close, so I didn't know if that was causing it. And then the fact that it's stuck in gear because of the seizure on the axle. Now the neutral switch is giving me issues. So it was like every switch that had to do with ignition was a question mark. And when I did rebuild those switches, I tested them all out before I went in there and started cleaning them, and none of them had continuity where they should be. Like, they were all open. In the cases, they should have been closed, so that was something that needed to be done. All right, guys, that's all for this video. Links down below in the description. Sale coming up from the merch site right away, 20 to 50% off everything. Especially if you live in the US, with that dollar exchange, it's a good deal if you happen to be in the position where you can buy something. So hopefully everybody's staying safe, staying indoors, going outdoors when you have the chance, and doing all your social distancing and everything. And thanks everybody for watching. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Sorry we didn't go a little further on this. I got some other stuff to do, but we'll see you in the next one tomorrow, probably, or the next day. Soon. Bye, everybody.
You been reckless or what?
I don't wreck my stuff, I wreck your stuff while I'm wrecking mine.
That's good, yeah. I need some more broken stuff.